All right, let's get into it. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something so familiar you probably think you know everything about it, the alphabet song. But we found a version, a digital one, that takes this super simple tune and turns it into something, well, really, really weird. To understand just how weird, we've got to start with the classic.
Yep, there it is. You know it. I know it. The rhythm's perfect. The sequence is locked in. It's more than just a kid's song, right? It's kind of like the first piece of code we ever learned for language. It's this universal anthem of learning. Totally predictable, totally reliable. It just works. So that brings us to the big question for today. What happens when that perfect universal anthem just goes completely wrong? What happens when a pattern that's so deep in our brains just falls apart? Well, the source material we're digging into gives us an absolutely wild case study. Okay, time to start our investigation. We're looking at the very first line from this digital version. And right away, I mean immediately, you can tell something is just off. The pattern is broken right from the get-go.
And boom, there it is, Fisha. What even is that? It's this totally random prefix just stuck onto the front of the song. The letters of themselves are fine for now, but this intrusion, this bit of linguistic static, it's our first clue that we are not listening to the normal ABCs. This is where our deep dive really begins.
So let's be super clear. We are not here to learn our letters. This is an analysis. We're going to treat this broken nursery rhyme like a fascinating piece of data. We want to understand how communication systems can fracture, and maybe even more importantly, how they manage to hold themselves together even under a ton of stress.
Okay, so let's track how this thing gets weirder. To really get what's happening, we need to be systematic about it. We're going to catalog all the different kinds of errors we're seeing because, trust me, it's not just one mistake, it's a total cascade of them.
This comparison really shows how messed up it gets. On the left, you've got that clean, logical progression we all know. And on the right, our source. You see letters just disappear. Like, F is just gone. Then you see replacements. MF pops up where LM is supposed to be. And then there's even more random stuff, like Fisha. It's a mess.
37. Just look at that number for a second. Let it sink in. What on earth could the number 37 possibly have to do with the alphabet? Well, it represents the absolute, most chaotic peak of this song's breakdown.
This is what it is. A single letter, K, just repeated 37 times in a row. At this point, it's a complete abandonment of the sequence, the rhythm, any kind of linguistic meaning. The song has gone from a structured list to this, stuttering, percussive loop. It's like the system just completely crashed.
So if we break it all down, we're basically seeing three main types of errors. You've got the simple stuff, the prefixes, like Fisha. Then you have the really extreme stutter repetition, like that wall of Ks. And then you get something even weirder, something we're calling phonetic deconstruction.
Just look at this. This is the most chaotic section by far. After that K stutter, the song doesn't just forget the letters. It seems to literally break them into pieces, into their raw sounds. L becomes h-uh, M turns into l-uh, P is l-l-o. It's like the whole concept of a letter has just dissolved, leaving behind only the sounds it's made of.
Now, after seeing this complete and utter system failure, you'd probably expect the whole thing to just dissolve into static, right? But it doesn't. Something truly remarkable, something incredibly consistent, happens every single time. So, let's just recap the chaos here. We've got nonsensical words popping up, letters being jumbled and skipped, a total rhythmic breakdown, and the letters themselves basically melting into phonetic goo. The whole middle of the song has been completely annihilated. And yet, through all of that noise, the structure holds on. There is an anchor point, a piece of the original code that turns out to be totally indestructible, no matter what kind of madness happens in the middle.
This, the ending, it is recited perfectly, flawlessly, every single time. It doesn't matter if it comes after a normal alphabet or after 37 Ks in a row, the song always finds its way back home to this perfect, clean, and completely normal ending.
And that's not a fluke. This is the single most important thing we've found. The beginning of the song might get corrupted, the middle might descend into total chaos, but the ending is an unshakable constant. It's the North Star in this whole broken system.
So what does this all mean? The fact that the song holds on to its ending so perfectly, despite everything else falling apart, actually tells us something really powerful about how patterns, well, work.
We can give this idea a name: structural anchoring. Basically, the start and the finish act like these fixed goalposts.
They provide a frame that allows for a huge amount of variation, or in this case, pure chaos, in between, without the whole thing being lost forever.
You can think of it like a three-act structure. Act 1 sets the stage. Act 3 delivers the resolution. But Act 2, that's where anything and everything can happen. You see this in jazz solos, you see it in storytelling, and we're seeing it right here in a broken nursery rhyme. The anchors hold, which lets the middle become this wild playground for change and error.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big thought. We think of things like the alphabet as these rigid, unchangeable laws. But what this weird little digital song shows us is that even our most basic structures can bend and break and stretch in some truly bizarre ways and still find their way back home. It really makes you wonder, what other fundamental rules in our world are really just stable beginnings and endings, with a whole lot of chaos in between?